Hey guys, Ryan here, SP's Gym. Welcome to This Week in Arm Wrestling. I guess that's what we're going to call this little segment we're doing on a weekly basis around this time each week. Today, a couple of topics I want to talk to you about. I mean, obviously, we are 2 days out from WAL 503 in Richmond, and we have a pretty big card. WAL 504 was announced, which is also a massive card, but the one that is on the horizon right now that we'll talk about first is 503. And if I'm out of breath, I'm sorry. As usual, I'm filming the video after we are done the workout of the morning. So it's very early on a Wednesday morning shooting the video. So as per normal, I will do a prediction show. And up first, we have Valerie Beach versus Nancy Locke. Now this is a great match for its unknowns and intangibles. We have just seen Nancy Locke return to the sport very recently. She had a losing effort a couple of matches ago in the WAL. However, she is a veteran of the sport. Valerie is coming on, and I don't know if I can give you an accurate analysis on how they match up stylistically or power-wise, but I will say that you never count out a veteran. So, based on not much logic whatsoever, I'm going to say that Nancy Locke takes this match 3-2. And the numbers could change significantly, but I do think Locke will walk away with the win on this one. I wish I had more to offer you on that match, but I simply do not. Next is Tom Holland versus Yanis, and this is a conflict of styles, a conflict of builds. Yanis, I think, will just come in there, and if he can assert his will and get the match where he wants it and stays tight, it's going to be a fairly quick day for him. If Holland can use the long arm of his and get some leverage on Yanis, we might see some wars, but I'm going to say it's going to be 3-0 for Yanis. Now, hey, that could be completely off base, but you know, that's why it's fun, and you guys don't take these things personally. They're just predictions. You're at the top level in the sport now, so I don't see how anyone can get really pissed off about how somebody said the match is going to unfold. Celiaris and Bishop. You got Bishop, who's been like coming on and just, he's a killer, and he's been traveling a lot. He was over in Moldova not that long ago, and you got the journeyman, Michael Celiaris, the most mispronounced name in all of arm wrestling, I think. And Michael has been around for a long time. As far as experience goes, the edge definitely goes to him. As far as the setting up and gamesmanship goes, I think it goes to him. I think that you have a guy that is typically much heavier in Celiaris against a guy that is typically lighter in Bishop. That being said, I think the early rounds, possibly 2, will go to Celiaris. But I do think that Justin Bishop will prevail in the end. I don't know that, I think he will be able to adjust in the late rounds, but I do think Celiaris will, through experience and be able to take matches 1, maybe matches 1 and 2. But my final prediction will be Bishop, 3 matches to 1. Now here's where it gets interesting. We have Krasimir versus Barbosa. So we have Krasimir, who can hook like nobody's business, but we saw him against Chafee, and then we saw him in Moldova, and he looked vulnerable. So what's he been doing between then and now? I don't know. Then we have Marcio, who comes in here, and he's super explosive. He can do it all. He can hook, he can top roll. And in historical matches, these guys have been matched fairly well, but that's history. I have seen the training videos that Marcio's been putting out, and he looks impressive. Like, he is big and lean and looks like he's in shape and looks like he's been training hard after maybe what wasn't the best season last year. So, oh man, it's almost a coin toss on this one as well, but I think Marcio for sure wins matches 1 and 2. And I'm going to say that he actually squeaks out, wins matches 1 and 2, faces some adversity, comes back and manages to get the win with an explosive hit in match 5. 3-2, Marcio Barbosa. With a grain of salt again, guys. Exciting stuff. And then you got the final, the main event. We got Michael Todd, the Monster, versus Dave Chafee, a monster in his own right. And you got basically what many see as a king's move versus Dave just powering right through him. So if Dave comes in with the game plan that he is just going to assert his will and pin Michael Todd, I think he will lose this match. I think he may be able to do that in matches 1, maybe match 2 as well. I do not think he has the gas tank to do it a 3rd time. He will need to adjust. I don't know if he has the desire, the ability, the motivation to have trained a completely different way. Desire and motivation. That's really not the right words, but if there's 2 schools of thought that you could do when Dave Chafee is building himself for a match with Michael Todd. You can change a strategy completely and hope to get a win off of something different, or you can just get so strong that you feel like you can just power through Michael Todd. We will see which philosophy it was. Chafee is a machine, but Michael Todd has looked great. But on the other hand, Michael Todd's coming in light, he's coming in ripped. I can tell you from experience that those things in power don't normally go hand in hand, so there's some intangibles there. I will say that I'm going to go ahead and say that Chafee wins matches 1 and 2, Todd wins the final 3 and just completely bleeds Dave, and it's going to be 3 matches to 2 for the monster Michael Todd. I'm excited to see it. Predictions just make it fun, and I can't wait to check out what happens after this. In a way, I'm more excited to see what happens at the next WAL, and to build those matches. I think that it makes it a whole lot more exciting if Dave Chafee wins on the 20th, which is 2 days away, this Thursday. If Chafee wins, and then he's going into his match with Devin after beating Michael, I think that match becomes a whole lot more exciting. Or, you know, it's still pretty good, but Devin's talked about all this stuff about he doesn't want to pull a loser, but I mean, Devin just lost to the same guy last season, so it is what it is. Switching gears a little bit, let's talk about the WAF versus the IFA. Now, I've been involved in some conversations with Jody Williams and with some other people online about what is happening over there. Well, we've seen over the past several months the WAF has banned certain people. They started off with like Leonard Harkless for no apparent reason, banned from the referee in chief for the World Arm Wrestling Federation, just banned for no apparent reason. Someone else put in place. We had several other guys just banned for competing elsewhere, threatened to be banned. Athletes, if they competed for the PAL, are under the IRPA banner, which is just a rating system. We've seen the World Championship get taken away from Poland and given to Romania a year early. And you can't deny that all this stuff has happened. So some people are saying that WAF isn't so bad. Well, I'll back this up for you and give you a little history lesson. In 1997, we had a World Arm Wrestling Federation that was, the World Arm Sports Federation that was governed by Mr. Leary, Mr. Doss, and the entire board. The World Arm Wrestling Championships was awarded to Thunder Bay, Ontario for 1998. In 1997, at the World Congress, those championships were taken away from Thunder Bay and they were given to someone else. I don't remember where they went. There was an altercation because there was some dictatorship going on over there within the World Armed Sports Federation. Fred Roy from Canada ended up being escorted out of the Congress meeting at gunpoint from the security guards, taken away, and the birth of the World Arm Wrestling Federation happened off of those incidents. So we had two. We had the World Armed Sports Federation, we had the World Arm Wrestling Federation. And there was a split. The World Championship happened in 1998 in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. It was relatively small, but it built and it built and it built into the World Arm Wrestling Federation that we know today. A few years ago, Fred Roy was the president of the World Arm Wrestling Federation in Canada. He was eventually voted out and replaced with SN. At that meeting, I talked to several people from that said that this was probably not the best thing for the World Arm Wrestling Federation. You will never see another World Arm Wrestling Championship on North American soil, and lo and behold, we have not. They have priced us right out of the market. They said that Europe will control the sport for the coming decades. It has, but all of these things appeared to be done under what was a democracy. The events of the past 6 months have not. They have been done without votes of Congress. They have been just kind of thrown around out there, and referees, athletes, coaches have been suspended and removed from the World Arm Wrestling Federation. The World Championship was taken away from Poland because of conflicts of interest, we'll say, and it seemed to be a power control move. Inevitably, I think I predicted this in a video, either another world organization would form or Nemiroff would just be the most well-attended one that we've ever seen. Well, December, we have now been scheduled for the World Arm Wrestling Championship under the banner of the International Federation of Arm Sports. The new organization that has started, the right people seem to be in power, the right referee panel seems to be in place. There's still a doping-controlled World Championship that is happening in December. And from a country perspective, the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation will be voting in a couple of weeks at the AGM on, do we stay with WAF, do we go with IFA? That vote will be happening. Our Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation President, Rick Pinkney, happens to be on the referee panel for the IFA. I am personally in support of the CAWF going to the IFA. I do not like what's been happening with WAF. And this is not a knee-jerk reaction. This is not a jump ship situation. This is careful thought that has gone into this. And I think that the IFA is the right move. And if it's run properly with the right constitution and the right people in place and the right controls as far as voting and reporting goes, we have the opportunity to build something that can really move this part of the sport forward. And I am in complete support of that. To the point that, should the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation decide to stay with WAF, as a competitor, as an athlete, I will likely still attend as a member of Team Canada to the IFA event. So there you have it, folks. That's all I have for you today. I mentioned that the Canadian Nationals are in a couple of weeks. We'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. But July the 13th and 14th are the event for that, Edmonton, Alberta. And there should be lots of exciting stuff and news coming out of that. And I'll see you guys next week.
There is no limit to how strong a human man can be. And it's a disgrace to see a human being grow old without ever recognizing how strong he could be. And that's just my belief.